What's up, knife freaks, sharpness geeks, and purveyors of stabbing goodness? Welcome to the Knife Freak Show. My name is Jonathan McNeese. This is my co-host, Miss Amy McNeese.
You didn't say lovely.
Oh, well, I'm trying to conserve a little bit of my voice because I don't know how much I got today. So
full of it.
I told you how pretty you were before we came out here. But acting like I don't compliment you. All right, guys. I've already started off in trouble, so we're going to see how this goes. My lovely co-host, Miss Amy McNeese. All right, so as most of you that are, normal listeners probably can tell, we haven't been on in a while. Well, I apologize. We had a lot of stuff going on. We never really got kind of caught up and back in rhythm after Blade Show. And then...
Well, we couldn't do it for a couple of weeks because I got sick and completely lost my voice.
Yep.
And then by the time I got well, it was time for you to have surgery. So
yep,
it just hasn't worked out.
It hadn't worked out. So speaking of, most of you that listen to this probably have already seen on Instagram, but I was out for just about 2 solid weeks, I guess, before I was really back in the shop to amount to anything. I had to have a mitral valve repair, so I had to go in and have surgery for that. Wasn't a whole lot of fun, but we're definitely on the right side of it now. Everything's good.
Well, and I think it's important to say that this was a planned surgery. We have known about it since April. We're not big sharers about medical stuff until after it's said and done. There were several people who did know, and I really appreciate you guys checking on us and making sure everything was okay.
Yep, very much so. So yeah, it was something it was not any kind of emergency, but it was something I had to get handled before, within a few more months here. So, we got that done. We're past it. I'm just building my strength back up, back to not quite normal hours at work for me, but pretty decent hours at work. And I think we'll probably ramp it up even a little more this coming week. So all is well there. Like she said, thank you all for all the well wishes and everything. That's really appreciated. And, we're ready to move on and kick a little ass now. We'll see how I can do running on all cylinders since I've been running with a faulty valve for a while now. So, what all we got going on in the shop?
Well, in about a month, we have the tax show coming up. So we've got to get ready for that.
For those of you that aren't familiar, that's the Ancient City Continental Show down in Orlando. First, it's
a U.S. only show.
Yep, only for USA made products. This is, I guess you'd say, the inaugural show, first one. And from what they're describing, I'm really excited. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Kind of a little out of the ordinary for a show. Kind of a little, I don't know what to say, not fancy exactly, but a little more, kind of a little more fancy, formal-ish, whatever. For anybody that's familiar with old USN gatherings,
that's kind of what it
I get that vibe from it, and I think that's kind of what they're going for, at least some of that vibe. So I'm really excited about it because those shows back in the day were a lot of fun. They were a lot of fun for us as makers, and they were a lot of fun as for the attendees. So it was just kind of like a big get together / party where people happened to be selling knives. So it was really cool. So really looking forward to that. We're going
a month after that. We have Blade West,
Salt Lake City.
Yeah. So, and those are our last 2 shows this year.
Yep.
That'll wrap it up for us.
Yep, that will wrap it up. We actually just had, while I was in the hospital,
couple feet down the road.
Yeah, literally like right down. A few blocks over from where I was in the hospital was the World Deer Expo in Birmingham. And for the first time ever, we had a booth there. We had somebody, representative, go and run the booth for us because we obviously weren't able to do it. So that went really well. That was our first kind of strictly outdoors show. That's not like a knife centric show. It went really well. I think we learned a lot from it and are going to be prepared next year to hit that and some more outdoor shows, hunting shows, that kind of stuff, a little bit harder next year. So I'm really looking forward to being able to do that because that's kind of a new thing for us. And it's, of course, I'm a big hunter and outdoorsman and stuff. So it's really cool to me to be able to kind of push into that world a little bit and start to educate people on what we do. So
that being said, you may not see us at all the shows.
For sure. We've reached the point now, guys, where to do all the shows that we're going to try to do while adding in these outdoor shows and stuff, that it's just not going to be, it's not going to be physically possible for us to go to all of them. I mean, besides the, eating up completely, like having no personal life, it's not really viable for us to spend that much time out of the shop and all that. So like, it's just, some of these shows, the big blade shows, stuff like that, will, of course, unless something drastic comes up, we'll always be at those. But some of these newer shows and stuff, at some point, we will be probably sending representatives to those. But that's all good too, because that helps us to bring some of our people along, give them an opportunity to grow, get to go do some stuff, get out of the shop, things like that. So that's not a bad thing. Just a heads up, though, that Amy and I personally won't be at all of them. We knew that time would come eventually if we kept growing as a company, that we wouldn't be able to handle literally every event that we wanted to do. So, but that's okay. That's, like I said, we're growing, we're getting more people, so that allows us to do that. So I'm excited. Let's see, what else have we got going on?
This month is August. So this
is August.
National Knife Day coming up in about, 3 weeks?
Yep. I know we've got projects going for at least one of our dealers for that, an exclusive project. We're going to do something. I haven't decided yet what we're going to do. Probably not going to have time to do anything real big as far as like huge numbers or anything, but we're going to do something. Maybe we can just have a handful of special ones that we can drop that day or something like that. But we're going to do something for sure. We can't let National Knife Day go by and not celebrate it somehow.
Maybe there'll be some extra giveaway stuff in your package if you happen to snag one of those. Yeah,
that would be great. Do some extra swag or something on that day. I like that idea. What else is going on? We're in the middle of, haven't officially yet, but we're in the middle of trying to hire a couple of people, which I think is going to be a big help. We're kind of at a little bit of a plateau right now that we're trying to break through. And I think a couple more people in here, if we can get the right people, are going to be a big help. Sorry, guys. I've still got a cough left over from this surgery that I'm trying to get rid of, but I'm trying to keep it down to a minimum here. So, yeah, hopefully going to be expanding the team here within the next couple of weeks. I'm working a lot on trying to refine some of our processes, find some new ways to do some of the stuff that we're doing that is costing us the most time as far as handwork and stuff, that I'm hoping is going to make us much more efficient, potentially even put out a better product, but at the very least make us more efficient and be able to put out more product. So that's a big deal. You got anything you can go over while I try to not cough? Tantos. I guess I have to go over that.
Because I don't know anything about what's going on with the Tantos.
So we have the fixed blade Tantos, the pocket Tantos that are almost ready to drop. So I did get the Tanto grind figured out on those. I know a lot of you already saw that. The only thing holding me up from being able to do it on the folders is I need to do some new fixturing, and I thought that I bought some right before I left to go to the hospital for my surgery, and apparently I just didn't pull the trigger, or actually it hit check out or something. I don't know what happened, but I didn't get it ordered. So ideally it would have been waiting on me when I got back from the hospital and we'd be ready to go. But I didn't do that. So now I've ordered it, and unfortunately it takes a while. I just got the shipping notification today, and it comes by freight. So I'm hoping one day next week we'll get that. But that's kind of what's been holding us up. The way I have to do them and orient them on the tombstone or the pallet to do the Tanto grinds, there's not enough room on the old tombstones that we were using, so I have to make new tombstones. So, but I think once I get that done, honestly, I think getting the Tanto part figured out is going to go pretty quickly, because now that I've done it on the fixed blade, it's, I've kind of got a line on how it should go. So
we might see Tantos at the Ancient City.
It's entirely possible. I would at least a small handful. Probably only one model. I doubt I'll have time to do more than one model between now and then.
So you have the second model for Utah?
If not 2 or 3 models by then. There's also a little surprise if I can make it happen, and I'm fairly confident we can. We're going to have a very small number of a different blade shape for the Big Dixon. It will, I'm sure, will eventually find its way to the Little Dixon as well. We just started with the Big Dixon. Not going to reveal yet what it is, but besides Tanto, we already talking about the Tanto. We got a completely different blade shape that I'm working on. Basically, just waiting to put the bevels on them and finish them out and put them in knives. So depending on how many of them I scrap trying to get the bevels figured out, which sometimes is like none. Sometimes I can get it on the first try, without messing one up, and sometimes it's 5 or 10. So we'll see. And we didn't get many. I think we got somewhere between maybe 10 or 15 of them done and sent to heat treating back. So I don't have a lot of margin for error there. I've got to get those figured out, hopefully, with just 1 or 2 blades without scrapping too many.
Oh, I know what we need to talk about. Shipping. Shipping.
I'll let you handle that.
You guys probably know, anybody who's bought from us about 2 years ago put us in the rural deferment program, which means they only pick up 3 days a week. That was Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Well, a couple of weeks ago, they didn't show up on Monday, so we had to go down the rabbit hole of trying to find somebody to talk to, which is never simple because they don't want you to talk to them. They took their phone numbers all off the internet. Like, you cannot find a phone number for anybody. So anyway, come to find out, they had moved our days to, actually, the reason they moved our days is because they closed our local center. So it's been open for probably 30 years. They just up and closed it, told all the guys that they either had to go to Tuscaloosa or to Birmingham or to
Jasper.
Florence, no,
Jasper.
No,
Jasper.
So now we are being covered by Tuscaloosa, and our days are now Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Well, the shop is technically closed on Friday, so we've been having to kind of be out here or leave a note or whatever for them to do pickups. But also, they have been really bad about not scanning packages in, losing packages. And I would love to say that we could just change to FedEx, but FedEx is also terrible. And I don't know what we're going to do because also the Postal Service is garbage too. So if you guys have any suggestions or, know somebody who's going to start a new freight company and we can start shipping through them, that'd be great. We'll figure it out, I guess.
It's a mess. It's a mess. Yeah. And I don't want to I don't want to deter people from ordering stuff by any means. We're still getting stuff to customers, but it's definitely making it more challenging. Like I said, it's more just it's not very reliable. And like I said, we really don't ship through FedEx, but we get a lot of stuff incoming through FedEx, and now lately, and they used to be pretty reliable, but now lately,
not at all.
They're just randomly a package is supposed to come one day, they'll just reschedule it for a day or two later.
It's frozen stuff, and it gets here completely thawed out and has to be thrown away.
Yeah.
We live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, so we do a lot of online shopping. Like we even order, like you said, frozen stuff. Like our dog food that we buy for the pups comes frozen. We buy like steaks, meat, and stuff, and have it shipped to us. And yeah, it doesn't take much in the July and August heat of Alabama, delaying that stuff by a day or two is pretty much means it's going to be ruined. So we lost a whole box of ice cream the other day. She had ordered some really nice, I don't know what the company is, but it's I guess it's like more natural. You call it gourmet ice cream or?
It's just real ice cream. It's
just like
ice cream if y'all want to know.
So good stuff. But yeah. Ordered a whole big old box of it, got here, and the whole thing was melted and just ruined. So they're going to replace it for us, but
to be delivered one day and they moved it to the next day.
Right. It would have been fine if they'd have delivered it on the day they were supposed to. So, and the company's going to take care of it. But as company owners, business owners ourselves, and having to deal with that, we feel awful. Yeah, we feel awful for them to have to replace it because we have to replace stuff, unfortunately, on a pretty regular basis because we're failed by the delivery services. But anyway, for the moment, I'm hoping that one of the other of them gets better at some point. Maybe they hit rock bottom and then
they fire the UPS CEO and get somebody who's got some sense in there, and we move forward. And
it's going to take something pretty drastic, I think.
But again, if anybody is interested in opening a company, now would be the time, because
you could
have to be very good, like just a little bit better than really bad. So
yeah, not a lot of competition right now. I know that's a huge thing, like logistical, that's not like something you can just, unfortunately open up a little local thing. But yeah, so that's just one of the frustrations we've had lately. We may go back to, may even try USPS some again. Our local Birmingham hub, for them, probably 3 years ago, we quit using them because it just turned into a black hole. From
priority mail packages were taking 3 to 4 weeks to get to customers.
Yeah. And we were told that they were implementing some kind of new system at that hub, and basically it turned into a nightmare for a while. And we have the stuff we ship through Whatnot does act like we don't really have a choice on that. Whatnot uses USPS, so we ship a lot of packages through that. And I think some of them have been a little delayed getting there, but I don't think it's been as bad as it was when we quit using them. And they pick up every day, so we may start trying. Honestly, it can't get much worse. So we're probably going to try switching back and doing some USPS and see what happens and go from there. Like I said, at the very least, we get the advantage of them picking up every day. It's hard, guys, to schedule stuff around, and try to give good customer service and get stuff shipped out quickly and all that when they won't come pick up from you every day, And like she said, that moving, we had 3 days a week, and then they moved one of them to Friday, which is fine, except, our shipping guy's not here on Friday. So, anything that's got to be shipped has got to be finished up by Thursday.
Or I come out.
Or Amy comes out and takes care of it. And then, I'm in and out usually on Friday. And right now we have somebody working some on Friday. But anyway, it just makes it difficult because there's not a lot of times they don't come until late anyway. A lot of times they don't come until after hours, even on days we do work.
We did request a new rep. The rep that we have is absolutely useless. So we'll
see if
we'll see if that
maybe that'll help
goes anywhere.
Yeah, I will be surprised if it does, but we'll see. So anyway, moving on from our shipping woes, but just know, guys, if stuff's a little slow shipping or whatever, like, it's not us. We're doing the best we can to get stuff out in a timely manner, and it just gets, just like, for example, here's a perfect example. We had, I think it ended up being like 8 packages the other day that we shipped. One of them being a big dealer order, so it was pretty valuable. We shipped those out. Well, the Tuscaloosa hub that they're working out of now to service us is an hour away. Actually, all the way to the hub is probably closer to an hour and a half. And so the guy, they're just stretched thin. Like, the guy came and did the pickup late. Yeah, it was right towards the end of the day. Yeah. And then what happened was he didn't make it back to the hub in time for, when they get back and they unload the trucks or whatever, and sometimes they scan the packages in as they put them on the truck. I don't know if that's something they were supposed to do and just didn't do it or what, but they didn't, and they didn't get scanned in time. He didn't get back to the warehouse in time for them to get scanned in with all the rest of the loads from that day. We had a bunch of tracking numbers showing that we had created a label, but they hadn't been picked up, even though they'd been picked up. And of course, customers get those tracking numbers.
Happened. They were all sitting in a huge box in the corner that nobody was ever going to do anything with except forget that they were there.
Yeah.
If we wouldn't have questioned it.
So
it automatically makes us nervous when that happens now.
So I was able to call 2 or 3 different people and finally get to the person that was like the warehouse manager there or whatever. And he went down and actually found the packages, told us, and everything's fine. They showed up then they got scanned in the next day. But yeah, we had that happen when the local hub was open, and what it was, we had a bunch of small packages, and somebody had the bright,
like 40 or 50 packages.
It was a bunch. It was like a big drop or something. And somebody had the bright idea at the warehouse or whatever when they unloaded the truck to take just a big cardboard box and put all those small packages in it. Well, then it was sitting there and I guess had like the flaps closed or whatever, no labels, no anything on it. So nobody knew it was actually packed full of packages to go out.
Label on.
Right. And so we had to, again, get a hold of somebody, get them to search it. And I think we had to ask them to go back and check it 2 or 3 times, and they finally found them inside that box. And, you know, we didn't end up losing any of them, but yeah, it's something trying to keep this shipping straightened out. And it's gotten progressively worse over the last 3 or 4 years.
Thing has got progressively worse.
It has, yeah. The amount that are just going missing and stuff. And I don't know if it's, you know, I don't know if it's just carelessness or if it's theft or.
I'm pretty sure it was theft. You know, I shipped it to somebody in St. Louis, second day. It was supposed to be out for delivery. It didn't get there. The next day, she called her local hub. They claimed that it was damaged and they were going to destroy it, which they have done to us several times now. They don't return anything. They don't send us a picture. They just claim that they destroy it. Well, she pitched a fit. Finally, they delivered it. There was nothing at all wrong with it. Like, it was not damaged at all. They were just going to take it.
Yeah, that was 100%. Somebody that worked there had stuck that package back and planning on keeping it. And yeah, it was. And why would you possibly like destroy a package, destroy it, or get rid of it without returning whatever's left of it to the the person that sent it? Like, that is insane. That's just, there's no way that's not shady. That's just crazy.
Well, I mean, that's why we cover the return address up so that people don't even know where it's coming from, which is really sad. And we've been doing that for about 3 years now. Like, it's really, really sad that you have to cover your name to keep somebody from stealing stuff.
Yep. But it is what it is. And like I said, we'll keep trying. We may try USPS for a while and see what happens, and we'll go from there. But hopefully it'll start to improve at some point. Maybe we'll have some management changes or something at one of the companies, and one of them will start to excel. That would be fantastic. But anyway, moving on from that, that has been a major issue for us for the last several weeks, actually. Let's see, what else have we got going on? Little Dixons are still selling great. We're still making them basically as fast as we can.
I've had several people ask about the satin stonewash blades for those.
Honestly, we should have already had some. I've already told the guys that I wanted some. And I think the main reason we haven't had any is because we're shorthanded right now. We had a couple of part-time guys doing the processing and stuff, which making those blades satin like that, the satin stonewash is part of that process. And one of them left, and the other guy was actually still pretty new. And honestly, he's been, it's been swamped. He's doing a great job, but he's just more than he can do. And so doing the satin blades does take a little longer. We actually have to take those and kind of do like a hand rub on the flats to make sure they're nice and clean, and all the lines are running the right way and look good underneath there after we stonewash it. So honestly, that's just a matter of it being an inefficient process, and we're so shorthanded that we can't afford, we don't charge any more for it, even though it takes more time. So it's just, that's why we haven't done it, because we honestly don't have the manpower to be able to slow down and do it. Hopefully that'll be rectified here pretty soon in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, that's the story on those. We talked about what's holding us up on the Tantos. We've got fixed blades coming down the line, guys. I know it seems like we hit Blade Show with a bunch of fixed blades. We've gotten a lot of demand for, especially like the smaller ones, like the PSK and the Muck. We sent several out to dealers. We wanted to get them in dealers' hands, especially some of our dealers that move a lot of fixed blades. So we made the choice to send them to dealers rather than drop them on the site first, because we want to spread the word that we're making fixed blades. It's great that we've already got a little bit of demand from our customer base, but we want to expand that. The whole point of using dealers is so we can expand our customer base. So we wanted to get some out to dealers, and then we had that outdoor show that I was talking about, the Deer Expo. That was the main thing we took to that, was fixed blades. So we wanted to make sure we had a good lineup for that. But we're also comes back to us being shorthanded too. We've got, I'm looking at the cart right over there that's got quite a few fixed blades on it that basically just need our logo put on them, and then the sheaths, getting the hardware and stuff put on them and boxed up is all they need. We've got quite a few, not tons, but we got quite a few of like the PSKs, almost all the models. The Muck's coming down the line. We just started grinding some of those yesterday. So we will have some of those. I'm hoping this coming week, the week you're listening to this, that we're going to be able to do a fixed blade drop the end of this week, but we'll see how it goes. No promises, but that's my intention, is to do a fixed blade drop this coming week, or we might do it as a Whatnot show. I think we talked about that, didn't we? So one or the other. We're planning on being able to offer some hopefully this week.
We've also gotten several requests about alternate scales that they can swap out.
Yep.
So we'll be working on that too.
Yep. I'm working on that. Another, you're going to see all the little pitfalls and aggravations that come along with running a business like this. So here's a quick story on that. So the scales, I bought a benchtop mini mill last year, maybe
even the year before now.
No, I think it was maybe last year. Anyway, and that's what we've been running our handle scales on. It's kind of nice because it's I'm looking at it because it's sitting right over there. It has a vacuum system you can hook to it or whatever. Keeps down the dust and stuff, and it's slow, but we don't need it to do anything else, so we could just have it sitting there running handles all the time for fixed blades, which was a great idea. The problem is I don't think it's really cut out for the level of production we're trying to use it for. Like it just can't run nonstop like that. And it started having some problems and tearing up on me. It's been one thing after another. So that's slowed us down a whole lot on fixed blade handles. I've actually been working this weekend on getting them set up to run them on one of the big machines, which is what we're probably going to switch over to. It'll be technically more efficient in the long run. It's just that, that machine could be doing other stuff, whereas that little mini, that was its only job. But if we have to buy another big machine to run them, then so be it, because we can't keep dealing with a machine that's just broken down. So,
well, and we are very soon adding on to the shop.
Yep. So yeah, that's some more news we've got, I guess.
We just got finished building a building that's gonna house the podcast and.
Yeah. And let me back up just a second. So on the fixed blade handles, as soon as I can get a machine up and running and consistently making handles, we're going to be able to offer like different colors and stuff and maybe some different materials for the fixed blades that we can put on the side and sell as replacement scales. That I fully intend to do that. I just have not had the capacity to do it. Basically since we kind of hit all the fixed blade, got the big lineup going. So that's coming very soon. Yes, like she said, some of you may have seen in my Instagram story, we just put up, it's actually not finished yet, but the building itself is up. We got a new building that's going to be our gym / bunkhouse / podcast studio. So really looking forward to that. That should be nice. I think it'll probably allow for a lot better audio and stuff. As you guys probably heard a while ago, beeping and carrying on in the background, one of the machines was running and was shutting itself off when it got done. So I think it'll be a lot better space for us to do this. It'll definitely make it more convenient for us because we'll be able to kind of leave a desk set up and, instead of having to come out here and throw up a table and the whole thing like we're doing now. So that should be a pretty big improvement. So yeah. And then what she was talking about before the end of the year, basically is kind of as soon as we get that building under control, we're going to turn around and start on a kind of small expansion onto the main shop, which is going to be, we're going to try to add about 30 feet, extend the front out about 30 feet, which will become, that space will become the shipping stuff will move into there. Our office will move into there, and that will do two things. That will allow us to have a cleaner, quieter space to have our office and the shipping. Plus, I plan on having kind of like a little, foyer area or whatever, like, when you come in the door, you're not just walking straight into the shop, into the manufacturer and stuff. At least maybe have a little display in there or something for the occasions when people stop by. But, and then that will free up once we move all the shipping stuff out of here and move our office out of here, that will free up space for machines. We'll probably be able to add, just freeing up that space will probably allow us to add 3 to 4 more machines inside here before we have to expand.
It's a conference room.
For now. Yeah.
For good. Until we build another conference.
Again, you hear what I'm talking about the noise. Now we got air back there. But, so yeah, that's exciting. Eventually, I'm probably within the next couple of years, we're going to be doing a big expansion But I want to wait until we can do it right. I want to wait until it can be, we can afford to build it the way we want it, the size we want it, and all that, so that we have plenty of room to grow, so that we're not adding on here, adding on there every year or so. I want to, this expansion is going to buy us a little bit of time, and then hopefully by the time we start, really get tight in here again, we'll be to where we can do a more major expansion. That's the plan.
Unless we move somewhere totally different.
You never know.
Well, I mean, this is technically a residential area.
It is. We could end up deciding, instead of doing a major expansion, we could end up deciding to just rebuild the shop somewhere else. We'll see. There could be some advantages to that. But for now, that's the plan. Moment of smallish expansion, and then we'll see what happens from there. Let's see, what else have we had going on? Feels like a lot more than what we talked about, but a lot of it's just the normal day-to-day stuff. So let's see what we got coming up. And I'm really excited about that new blade shape that's coming in the Big Dixon. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to debut that. I think that's going to be
tell us what it is. Have to.
I guess we could. We'll
like you kind of want to, though.
Reward the people that listen to the podcast. So it's going to be a Wharncliffe, guys. We've had people ever since we came out with the Mac 2. With every knife we've done, I've had quite a few requests for a Wharncliffe blade. Can't really do it the way I would like to make it work the way I'd want to in a Mac 2, just because of the way the handle is made. Not without changing the handle up or changing the location of the standoffs and stuff. And at that point, honestly, I'd just as soon just make a completely new knife out of it. So, but with the Dixon, I was able to use the same handles, not have to change anything on the handles, and come up with a blade that I think looks really good, that will be a Wharncliffe. So going to give the whole knife a completely different look. I mean, it'll basically look like a completely different model, more or less. But
you say we're starting with the Big Dixon.
Yeah, we're starting with the Big Dixon, just the way it worked out. Honestly, I think at one point I thought I was working on the modeling up for the Little Dixon, and then somehow I ended up doing it for the Big Dixon. I don't know. So it was kind of not even intentional, but it's fine because the Little Dixon is still very new.
The story of our lives.
I know. You just roll with it, babe. You just roll with it. That's the way all this goes. You just got to roll with it. So, but I do think originally my thought was that we would do the Big Dixon because the Little Dixon is still very new. We still haven't even made that many of them. We still got a lot of demand for those. We've been making the Big Dixon. We made it for basically a year straight. There was almost nothing else in there with it. And so we got quite a few of those out there. So this will let us kind of give a little, fresh air to the Big Dixon, by putting new blade shape in it. So I think that was, in either way, whether I meant to or not, I think that's probably the right move. That way we can get, and it will end up in the Little Dixon too, but I don't know how soon. Like I said, we kind of want to, I don't like to put too many new things out all at once, like the Little Dixon, and then all of a sudden the Little Dixon with a Tanto blade and the Little Dixon with a Wharncliffe blade, all within a matter of, 6 months. That's just,
considering what they do, I would think the opposite, but.
Yeah, well, I might want to, but when it comes to the challenges of actually making it happen in a manufacturing environment, it's a little bit different. It can be a little daunting to start adding changes in there. So, but we are getting better at it. I am getting where we can do, we can make changes and roll with it, like I was just talking about, a lot better, and get there a little quicker on getting it figured out. So that should allow us to do a little more variety going forward, a little quicker, and not. I don't have any intention of ever just kind of getting settled on one model and making it for a year or two straight like we've done in the past. We've got enough models now and enough variations coming down the line that, not to mention whatever new models we may come out with, that we should be kind of rotating through those, and we won't be making tons of any one model. It'll be, making a few batches of one model and then switching it up, different model, different blade configuration, whatever. So that's what you'll be able to look forward to is more variety going forward, and less, year or two making the same, just variations of the same model, like different handle milling or whatever. So, a lot more variety coming for
We
sure.
also have some new transfers that just got here, so some new logos that are coming. Probably debut those on Whatnot, and we also just got another new logo that we haven't even done anything with yet.
That's because it's for something specific.
No, we just got the
the graphic. Yes. Yeah, our artist that we use for most of our artwork. Yeah, he just whipped us up another logo that we'll have to. Yeah, I definitely want to get some.
It's going to be like a good kind of fall Halloween kind of logo.
Yeah, it's got.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah, we'll probably debut it a little before, like maybe month of October, September, going into October.
It's October to
That's true.
Halloween.
Oh no, I'm ready to start it now. So
in the 95-degree weather.
Yeah. But one of the designs that we've got is something we're kind of holding back. We've got something we're working on.
To talk about your special.
I can't talk about it too much, but we've got I think I can go ahead and say this. We've got a customer loyalty program that we're working on that this is going to be special for that, basically. Will be basically the only place that you can get that. And it's going to be some different varieties. It does. It's really cool graphics.
One of them. So
I'll be wearing it before long. Yep. And and we're actually going to get more graphics and stuff so that that will be exclusive to the customer loyalty program. So basically the only thing we're really waiting on to get that done is to make sure we have enough stuff available to make it something, and not just be like, hey, here's a customer loyalty program, and it's like not much to it. We want to really build it out and have a lot of good, cool stuff available. It's taken a while, but we're getting there. By the end of the year, for sure, I want to have that done. So hopefully before the end of the year. But yeah,
that's on that note, we're running like way behind on getting like the Little Dixon t-shirts and stuff even available on the website. I know, but we just haven't had the time or the energy after all the other stuff to get that stuff done. But we will get it done.
We are. That kind of goes back to the staffing issues too, and we've actually got plans to get some help with that too, with some of the making the shirts and stuff.
Yeah, making the shirts. I'm talking about just even getting them listed.
Getting the pictures and getting them up on the site and all that.
And in pink on black too that we haven't listed.
Yeah.
So
I guess we did those on Whatnot.
We did the Little Dixon on Whatnot.
Oh, we hadn't even done the big ones. Yeah. But like I said, guys, we were only technically out for
we were in the hospital for a full week.
I was in the hospital for a full week. We were in the hospital for a full week because she was right there with me, of course. And then wasn't a whole lot of, good for the week after that. And of course, she's having to take up a lot of slack around the house. Not that she doesn't always, but even more now. I'm still on lifting restrictions. I can't lift more than 10 pounds. So she's having to do way more even than she normally does around the house and stuff. So it's made it challenging. And like I said, too, we had this hanging over our heads. We were trying to get everything done and ready so that the shop could keep running efficiently. Everything in our personal life could keep running efficiently leading up to it. Basically, we got done with Blade Show and immediately had to go into prepping for this. So we got lots of cool stuff coming. And like I said, we're getting pretty close to being back to normal as far as, me being back in the shop and all that. Going to be a couple more weeks at least of her having to, baby me and not let me lift more than 10 pounds and all that good stuff. But
baby him all the time anyway.
Yeah, I know. But I do at least usually lift more than 10 pounds. So anyway, but yes, we got lots of cool stuff coming. We got lots of things that have been coming down the pipeline for a while that just kind of got delayed. And again, it's been not just the health stuff, but also, like I said, we're kind of we're already on the verge of being understaffed. We lost the one part-time guy. We're working on correcting that. So hopefully we don't want to rush into it because we want to make sure we get the right people in here. We don't just want warm bodies. We want good people.
We want some good maturity.
Yeah. So, and that's what we're working on. So I think we'll see a pretty big difference over the last half of this year. I think by December we're going to be, as far as our output and the amount of special projects and then this other stuff like swag and all that stuff. I think all of that is going to be, we're going to be in a lot better shape by the end of the year on being able to keep that stuff running. So, like I said, we've kind of just been spinning our wheels. Like we got to a certain level and then we're just kind of spinning our wheels and can't quite break through, but we're about to one way or the other. If I have to drive a monster truck through the wall, we're breaking through.
I mean, we don't talk about stuff like this typically, but I mean, you do all of the program. Like,
yeah,
that's 100% you.
Right.
And so if you're not here to program, then
right, they can run the stuff that's ready to run, you know, that we've already been running. But as far as anything new or making changes to anything or whatever, yeah, that's, you know, that's out the window if I'm not here and available to do the programming. So, so yeah, it's definitely, that's a bottleneck. But again, now that hopefully I'm going to be back better than ever here very soon, so that'll that should help a whole lot. And fortunately, it doesn't take, I don't have to lift more than 10 pounds to do programming, so I can do that now. So, but anyway, so basically tonight, this episode, guys, was just been so long since we've been able to do one. This is just kind of an update.
Play and catch up.
That's right, play and catch up. We'll try to get into some more actual topics and stuff. Still planning on having some guests. Again, the way things have been, it's been very hard to get any guests scheduled, but we are going to try to have some guests on here. Have even talked to several people of different businesses and stuff that are kind of outside the knife industry, but they're like in the American-made side of things that we're wanting to try to have on here. So we're gonna try to start mixing some of those in. Please, by all means, send us messages and put in the comments whatever about questions or things that you'd like to hear about. We're going to try to mix in some technical stuff. Try to give you guys some tips on things you can do as far as knife maintenance and just that kind of stuff. But yeah, we appreciate you guys hanging in there and coming back and listening after our little hiatus, and we'll try to be a lot better about keeping the schedule going here now. So, what? All right. I think that's about all my voice is going to let me do today. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you for supporting us, and we will talk to you soon.
See you guys later.